still the best.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, it's the
Welcome
Cemetery
everybody
Files.
to another episode of the Cemetery Files, number 25,
Number
with our guest Jenny
25.
Phillips. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yay! We gonna bring her in right now?
Rat Meow.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah. Do you want to bring her in right now, or you wanna tell me what you're doing today?
I'm really not doing anything but being irritated, so I'm just
And
trying to.
it's
I'm
good that we
just.
tell everybody that.
Yeah, I know, but
Jay has
it's
a
just
fucked up
when stuff
system.
kind of. Yeah, and it just. I don't know what it is, but I mean, it looks better now, but it's just
Yeah, you'll
frustrating,
do great.
But
You'll do
I
great.
know
I know.
it'll be a good day today because we got Kara on, and we've been waiting for this for a while. So
I know. The first time we had her on, we were telling stories, and now we got to tell more stories. Yeah.
ready?
So let's bring her in. Let's bring her in.
Let's
Here
go ahead.
comes
All right.
Kara Phillip. There she is.
Hi, everyone.
Yay! Hey,
Yay!
Hi.
There she is. So what
how
have
are
you
you?
been up to?
Ooh, so I was just kind of looking at messages, and the last time I was on was in the beginning of August, like August
Yep.
7th, and life has changed, right? Probably for all of us, but like plenty of changes in that time. We started a brand new podcast during that time. It's called Into the Obscure. It's with my co-host Jenny Monroe and Tressa Slater. And so it's the three of us. And most of the time we have a guest. Sometimes it's just us. We call those episodes. Now that's what I call content. Kind of like now that's what I call music from back in the days. That came from us being like, how we all go, well, that's content. That's something, and we're like, it's content. And it's just kind of the three of us with a guest, sometimes more serious, sometimes more funny, always, I like to think, delightful. We
Informative.
I think informative too. If you're interested in who our guest is, if you're interested in what we're talking about, it could be informative. But yeah, it's and it's kind of just guests all over, from, we say paranormal is the blanket term, right? But it's, we talk about ghosts and aliens and cryptids, and we have authors, we have researchers, in all of these areas, and just personalities too. They're not all, somebody that had to have a book out or whatever. I feel like a lot of authors, because it's a lot of authors, right? But, a whole smattering of people. So we get to, let's be honest, for the most part, we just get to like talk to our friends and make some new ones.
Right? That's all this is. It's like every time I'm talking to somebody, it's like, oh, I could be friends with you.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
And every now and again we get a surprise. And every now and again we get a surprise. Somebody will refer, hey, like I think you'd, this person be great on your show. And we're like, okay, cool. You're cool. So she probably is too. And then we're like, well, you're our new best friend now, and you're just part of us forever. So yeah, that's been the cool thing with this show. So we are every Tuesday night, we live stream. We started out on Mondays, but we were asked to switch to Tuesday by a dear friend. So we did. And
nice.
We gladly switched for him. And so we release on Wednesdays on all of our channels, and then also on the Paranormal 60 network, Dave Schrader's network, on Wednesdays as well. So that's who we switched for, let's be honest.
Good deal.
So it's been really cool. So we're at the beginning of the show still, figuring stuff out and, finding what works the best. But you guys are still pretty early in your show too, with 25 episodes. You still kind of figure out what works.
Yep. The second season we're already talking about. So
yeah,
we may switch to just a podcast rather than a video podcast.
Oh,
so
interesting.
We're talking about that because we're finding that more people will listen than sit and watch the show.
Right.
Yes.
So we're considering just going to a podcast where people can just put us in their ears while they're grocery shopping at Walmart. So
we have the live stream, but we definitely, the listens and everything happen from the podcast part.
It's an interesting journey. I never set out to do a podcast. I never set out to be on camera. I never set out to be on television.
Yeah.
So this is all a new area for me. Are you all ready over there, Jay?
I am ready. I'm just patiently listening.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
we
I
should go to
definitely
the last
never
one, yeah.
expected to be like on this journey. And
No,
there are so many
no.
times I'm like, what is my life? This is super cool, you know, and the stuff that I get to do and the people I get to meet,
Yeah.
so cool. So yeah, no, this has been a really exciting adventure, and it's fun having this podcast, having Into the Obscure. So we, get to, it's a project that we love so much. It's definitely like our baby. So it's so fun to go out and represent ourselves. Like we'll be at Parasicon, having a table for us. And it'll just be so fun to get to talk to everybody and, have all that interaction and everything. So we're really excited about that.
It's one of my favorite things at Paracons is going out and networking. And
Yes.
the last one I was at in Nashville, I went out to network with other people, and I took my business cards and I went up to this one table. It was a paranormal team, and I went to go hand her my card, and I said, "I am," and she says, "I know who you are,"
How
and
fun.
flipped her away and hugged me really big, and I'm like, the weirdest experience I've
It
ever
is,
had. I'm
isn't
like,
it?
I don't know you.
I had that moment. We just went like on an investigation once, like a more public one, whatever. And there was like somebody came up to me like they knew me. And I'm not saying we didn't ever like interact ever in life, but it would have just been like a quick like hi, not like talking. And I was like, oh my God, like that's so wild.
It is wild.
Yeah, and it's so cool. I love the getting to, not only the people that you actually know, getting to see them in person and the excitement or all of that, but all the people to connect with that you didn't know you were connected with, and you had a relationship you didn't know about. So I love that so much, and getting to talk to everybody. So yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm so excited like that season is coming up. So I look forward to it.
I know. Oh, yeah. Which ones are you going to? Go ahead, Jay.
This year is gone by pretty quick. This summer went by really fast to the point where, wow.
Yeah.
You'll miss it,
It was.
Yeah.
No, it really was. And I feel, and it's so, right, it goes so fast at the end of it too. You kind of really quick, you go to stuff all season, you do things, and then we go hard into that, leading up to Halloween, we all do.
Mm-hmm.
And then boop. And then suddenly we're
gone.
like, and then we go, okay, I booked my hotel for next May. You're already now thinking ahead like that. And so that's a wild thing. So far we know we're going to be at Parasicon. So excited about that. Spirits in the Spring is Nick Sarlo's Paracon at Broadhead Manor in Wisconsin. So we're going to be there is the plan. Yeah. That's the plan for that one. So we're really excited about that. They're pretty close to each other too. He originally scheduled it the same weekend as Parasicon. He was like, I should probably switch that. So, I think they're only like a couple weeks apart. So that'll be a busy couple of weeks for us. And Spirits in the Spring at least is closer. So that'll be a little easier. And for sure, we will be at Great Lakes Paracon in Wisconsin. Also, again, in September. I don't know in what capacity exactly, but we'll definitely be there, no question. Like if we'll have a table, I keep saying to Melissa and Craig, we can speak, we can. So we'll see. Probably just have a table. And those are the ones we know for sure so far.
Great.
So we're very excited.
We haven't even picked ours. We haven't even picked ours yet this year.
We haven't picked ours.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to figure out where we're going
right now that it's just sometimes we don't even know what's up, what's down.
It's crazy. There's a lot going on over here, and for me on the team, and then doing this podcast and all that, it's goodness gracious.
Well,
but
yeah,
and life moves
so
world.
fast. Yeah, no, and I do say sometimes when I'm like, oh my God, I have so much because I'm in school too, and all this, and I just have to always say, this is everything I want. This is what I ask for. This is great. I'm not upset.
Right? Yeah.
But then before I know it, it's a month later, and I go, I don't know what just happened there. Oh no. So
I don't even remember October.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't even know. I didn't even do a lot of haunted houses this year because let's be honest, they're mostly the same, year after year. So when you go to the same ones year after year, you're like, So I was like, I'm not going to go to any, and then only went to a couple, which is really cutting back for me anyway. And then I was like, I don't even know how I would have fit more in. I don't even remember what happened that month. I don't know everything we did. I don't know how I used to. I feel like I did more in past years, and I don't know how I did that. It's wild how busy we get. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So what's happening out at the prison?
Good question.
How's that going?
Yeah, good question. So we're still not there. So we're there's some stuff, we'll see. They have to figure things out with the city and things. Okay. So I'm hoping,
But it looks better than it did the last time we talked to you.
I hope. I hope. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that are totally not in my hands. So I really, really hope. I really want to get home. I think that too is why it felt so frantic this year, even though I did so much more. I miss having a home base, I used to. So I think it's a lot of going to other people's homes, and home bases and everything. So I definitely miss it. And I hope the paranormal and us can get back in there. I think that's where the history gets respected. And I think that's where the building gets to survive and really, and all of its former and maybe present, residents really get to be heard. So
Have you talked to Chris Sumner yet? Chris Sumner or Miranda Young?
No.
They own the historic Scott County Jail in
I know who they, now that I have not.
And they have, you might want to talk to Chris a little bit because she's even doing presentations to cities about using buildings after hours, historic buildings after hours for ghost hunts. So she's really very knowledgeable. I should say Dr. Chris Sumner.
Oh.
And she's working on a paper right now about something that's going to be valuable to all of us, and she's going to be, I think, releasing it in the spring. But you might want to talk to her. She might be able to give you some ideas on what to do and how to do it.
Oh, it's all in who currently is managing it and how they're going to interact with the city and what's going to happen next. So if different people get to make decisions about it, then I think we all go back. So it's a people thing right now.
That's a cool place that you guys fit well into.
Yeah. No, we do miss it, and we miss being home, and we miss getting to share it with people, getting to have that, that time with people to have, their first experiences there or their 50th experience there, and, just the energy and everything. I miss a lot that whole, having that connection with the place and knowing it so well, so I miss that a lot. I definitely noticed over the past, it's not been a whole year, but having, when you're away from your home like that, kind of displaced, you go from more the investigator role and having that connection and having, to now I'm for the time being, I'm kind of calling myself more of a paranormal podcaster because, temporarily without a home, so I don't necessarily know how I fit back into that investigator role. That would happen even if I don't get back there. I would definitely get back more to the roots of it, right? But for now, you go, well, this is where I am right now. This is this season, and it's really fun too. So I'm not complaining, but I'm a little complaining.
It is really cool. I mean, I've watched a couple of your episodes, so I mean, it's just
thank you.
Mesh well together. You know what I mean? So yeah, kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So. Do you ever get a chance to? I know that this entire year I've been doing hunts with other people, showing them a site and inviting people along with me and training a new team, and it's been constant. I don't know, teaching and presenting and all of that. And then for Halloween, I got called up do you want to come do Randolph County Jail or Randolph County Insane Asylum?
Awesome.
And I'm like, a hunt all by myself just to do the pleasure of hunting? Do you get the chance to do just the pleasure of hunting anymore?
So not really this year because not really this year. I mean, also I will say, like, personal life, still work plenty, and in school, so that's huge, like that's a huge time thing. I swear, I always, like, I make the joke that the paranormal community was like, what weekend does Kara work? Let's schedule everything on those weekends. I swear I work every third weekend, and I swear everything was scheduled on every third weekend. That's just fun. When I can lately, it's more just I try to, like, tag along with my friends when something fun is going on, and then probably, honestly, let's be honest, if my friends are around and I'm getting to see them for the first time in a while, we're probably just talking.
Yeah.
I probably am just so happy to connect with them and everything. So yeah, this year I really haven't gotten to, which is really, I'm starting to notice that. I took for granted a long time having that just kind of at my fingertips and right there, and it was just part of my life that I didn't think that much of it. So even when there wasn't an actual tour, or there weren't, people that we had to, like, teach or talk to or share things with, we got to stay a little later or be there on a different day, and get to do our own investigating. And without that, just, like, resource right there, the fun kind of gets to go away a little bit, and you have to, and it's hard once you have to make the effort, which I think it's just a shift of mindset, right? So that's why I'm like, in the future, I'll do better. A shift of mindset of, like, now I have to actually do the work to seek it out. But at the same time, I like throwing everything into the podcast and into everything else. It's really easy to be like, oh, there goes another weekend. There goes another, another couple days.
You gotta look at it as self-care.
It kind of is, yeah. And so when we can, we go. And it's so, I am the queen of, like, oh, but that's so far, with things.
Yeah, right.
And it's not that it's terrible to be in the car for 3.5 hours. It's just, oh, wait, I didn't know about this and didn't schedule my life accordingly. So it's really hard to drive, like, round trip 7 hours and, like, do the fun stuff too. So I'm a big wuss with that too. I will always be the one that's going, but that's really hard.
I just look at it. It's the offer came up for the Randall.
Well, that.
And I'm like, okay, the only thing holding me back from this is Diamond. That's it. And I call up her dad and I go, okay, I got this offer to go up. And he's like, well, go. Bring her over. Go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it. I don't want somebody to keep me from doing it.
No, right. And then isn't that life too? Like, life just is that. Like, what if somebody else just said no? Like, there was something else recently that's in the winter time that I was like, somebody just tell me no so I don't have to go to it.
Just tell me no so I could just write it off.
And I could just be like, oh, not doing that. Thank you for telling me no. I'm not going to do that. So, and sometimes, and I know I overcommit too. Like, I will commit to stuff. Obviously, I'm, like, planning my September things. But in the meantime, stuff is going to come up in September that I'm going to butt right up to that too, and I'm just going to, like, this past fall, I think I'm still just, like, coming down from fall, that I kept saying, like, okay, this week is going to be busy, but that's okay. The next, okay, so the next 3 weeks are going to be horrendously busy. I'm not going to sleep. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to get through this, and I'm really going to do, like, 1 minute at a time, hold on by my fingernails, but it's going to be fun. So it's all worth it. And this is great. And even there was 3 weeks that was, like, really, like, long and wild and super fun, and I regret nothing, but that became 5 weeks. And there was, I think, like, one day that I could breathe in between it starting another bunch of weeks. And I was like, okay, maybe I think the self-care is just saying, maybe I'm not doing everything. And if that means I miss some fun stuff, that's okay. Like, that's all right.
It happens. Yeah. So
I'm going to call this the rebuilding year is what I'm going to, call it in my head. I'll be like, oh, that 2023 really had to, like, figure stuff out.
I think Jay's being quiet because he's afraid his spirit guides are going to come out today.
No.
That was really funny on the last show. It ended up being a reading day.
It ended up being a reading day for our last week's show. It wasn't my intention, but it just all of a sudden Spirit said, hey, we got something to say.
If it happens, it happens. You got to listen.
Right. Yeah. And it usually doesn't happen that way, but as of late, for some reason, my guides have been a little bit more active in my daily life. So I've kind of been letting that kind of, happen. So I just, not that I don't have enough on my plate already.
Well, I think we
Where
all
are you?
do.
Yeah, we all do. Yeah. Where are you going, honey? Are you going hunting anyplace, Jay?
Me?
Yeah. Oh,
No, I'm not.
well,
I'm not.
darn it.
Seriously, I'm not. I mean, not that I know
I thought you
of. I
and
mean,
Mikey had something going on.
no, we did investigate the Maxwell Mansion down in the Speakeasy, which it was
Ooh.
good. I mean, but it wasn't really
Yeah,
much
speakeasy,
there.
right?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I can investigate pretty much, whenever all I gotta do is ask, and
Yeah. Well,
but
that's kind of like me in the gym. We've got the gym that we're home team for a. It's an athletics gym, and it's
Oh.
not very big. And what happened was our one of my investigators' husband, um, he was working out and he got a voice in his ear, and apparently they were having other things happen in there and things being pushed over, and we're like, okay, we'll go in, and I'm not
Yeah.
expecting anything, right? It's like and
it's a
there's
gym.
what?
It's a gym.
Yeah,
you know.
right, exactly, it's a gym. And there's EMF activity all over that place for no reason whatsoever.
So, I mean, the first question everybody asks, I'm sure, is it old or is it just like
No,
a new, just
it's
like a,
new. We
that's,
just recently found out that there was an apartment building there in the
oh,
20s through the 40s that burned down,
get,
which is
oh,
why
okay.
we're getting
Yeah,
people.
Yes.
I was
yeah.
so thrilled. It's like we've gotten a little girl that's come through, and we've gotten a woman that's come through. And the last time we went to investigate, myself and one of the sensitives, we were sitting there in an Estes session, and I'm like, there's something going on behind me. I turn around, in my mind's eye, I see this dark male figure with one of those straight brim hats, like
Oh,
an Amish wear, walking back and forth and back and forth, and he was a grumpy motherfucker. And I turned to go back into the Estes session, and my sensitive turns to me and he says, "You saw that too, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I saw it too." And he described exactly what I saw.
that's awesome.
And so we don't know who he is, but it was just a thrill to get the information that there was
Now
something there
that's yeah,
before.
yeah. You were thrilled for the information, not of
Mm-hmm.
what happened there. Let's celebrity clear that air right now. That
Well,
Right.
was the
yes,
fun.
Yeah,
I
not because
do.
of the incident, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
now know that there was something there that contained
The
people.
validation of that of the
Hmm.
history is where it's
Right.
at. And that's in Portland, right?
Yeah, it's in Portland. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
Freedom Fitness 615.
I might,
He's given me the ability to talk about it. I'm so tickled.
Oh, that's awesome. No, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So yeah, okay, so and then the follow was anything ever built there in the in between, or it was probably just like
We're
spirits
working on
walking
it.
around in the field,
Yeah,
or
we're working on it.
whatever.
Well,
How
we think there's hobos because it's right next to the railroad tracks out in the
okay.
woods, and it was
Oh,
on the edge of town at that point. So we're thinking that there's like hobos, and then you got to think about, okay, what kind of native indigenous people were there
yeah,
before. So the woods have always drawn my attention from the moment I moved to Portland. It's like
interesting.
there's something there, and
Yeah,
so when they
uh,
called me,
there's
I wasn't
some pictures
surprised. Hmm?
of that when we were talking about that soldier in your backyard.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
see what I
Oh yeah,
stapled?
I've seen him since the day I moved in.
Yeah.
Well,
huh?
he was hidden for a long time, and he came, you know, that part that's between the trees that's grass, that
Yeah.
pathway kind of thing. He came out into that pathway, and that's when I saw him the first time. And now he
Yeah.
just kind of hides in the woods.
In the bushes in the
But
woods.
it's a
Huh?
Confederate soldier. I don't know why he's there. I don't know if he's like a lookout or a sentry or he's trying to go AWOL. I don't know. And
Yeah.
he just stays out there.
Yeah.
He doesn't come any further. He doesn't come into my yard. He stays in the trees. He stays in the
Diamonds even.
bushes. Diamond's even seeing him. And
Yeah.
Diamond's she's definitely sensitive.
Hmm.
She was in the kitchen barking at something the other day, looking up, barking her head off.
Yeah. She's got activity all over the place. Being in the
Yeah,
southern states like that, Tennessee and Kentucky and everywhere around there, there's so much history. Just
yeah,
the land itself.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
It's an amazing this area is so amazing for hauntings and history, and it is a thrill to live here. I
mhm.
couldn't have picked a better place to move.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I caught on those pictures that you sent me. I
Yeah, you were
noticed
dead
them.
on.
I knew
I'll have
right
to
away.
post them online. I'll have to post them
Yeah,
online because I
very
sent them
cool.
over to Jay. We were on the phone this morning, and I'm looking at the trees, and I'm like, okay, he's out there again because one of the bushes was moving,
Oh,
and
Yeah,
yeah, he can move the bushes. And it wasn't wind because it was only one bush, and it wasn't the rabbits. The rabbits don't make the bushes
they're not
move.
gonna move a lot.
They're
No.
they're short little things, and these
Hmm.
bushes are taller. So the bushes were, oh, my soldier's out there today, and sent the pictures over to Jay, and he circled the areas that he saw, and I'm like, you're dead on, dude.
That's
That's
awesome.
exactly where he goes. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
I'll have to
saw him
post
right
those
away
online.
as soon as you mentioned he was crouching down by the one tree where I
Yep.
circled.
Yep.
That was before I circled him. Before you even got it to me,
Yep.
I could see that backyard. That was
Yeah.
weird.
I should just have people investigate my backyard.
Yeah, it sounds like it, right? Like that's
Yeah,
I mean, I live right behind the railroad tracks, so it's an area that they would have traveled down because they use the railroad tracks to get from one place to another. And I'm right by where Truesdale, I think that's how you pronounce it. Truesdale's troops were camped.
huh.
So it's quite likely it might have been a sentry or something like that.
Well, and aren't a lot of railroad tracks built along, and a lot of older roads too or whatever built along routes, that
Right.
were used. So
The
it's not
original routes,
just it's not
No.
just that there's a railroad track there and there could be people, for the last 150 years. This could go way further back,
Oh, yeah.
just because it's been
Yeah.
a route used.
Well, I get people in the house. They'll come and they'll go.
oh
Oh,
And they come and they arrive, and I hear people talking, and then they'll be gone. And Diamond saw, the guy in the whoever was in the kitchen. He left
yeah. The
immediately.
guy from the 50s.
Yeah, there's the guy. There's Gary. Gary was around for about 3 weeks.
Yep.
I started blaming everything on him, and he left.
I saw like our third conversation. on
Yep,
the
our
phone.
third conversation, Gary was there.
Like, you got this 50s guy in your house.
But I'm like a way station. They come in,
Yep,
they
pretty
go,
much.
and they,
Yeah, they come and
so
go.
I don't know what was here. I got to go down to county records and find out.
yeah.
but
No, I think that's interesting. Like, I mean, was your house kind of, or the land at least, like
Was
a way
something there,
station?
yeah,
Like, was
exactly.
it actually,
Yeah.
maybe like kind of, like a little hotel thing or something? People really
Don't
did just
know.
come.
Don't
You
know.
know what I've been wanting to do too is I've been wanting to take the show on the road, so to speak, and do live shows like we did at
Well, we had a blast doing that at Rock Island.
right. Well, but we weren't live. Oh yeah,
we went live. We went live because we
So-
had a camera turned so everybody could watch
the next
the
level.
area for us.
Somebody come to your house instead of us, who does a
Yeah.
podcast. Wink, wink. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That would yeah, seriously.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, I asked about Joliet Prison because that's one thing that I've wanted to do is another prison, and one that's bigger, one that's had more activity and more history to it.
I
went
hope
over
so. I hope by next season, because that would be, yeah, no, it does not disappoint. Like other, there's a little jail kind of local, to us within an hour or so. But even people that are there all the time, they just say like, oh, yeah, I have one story, I have one thing, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And to me, it was never that exciting, to go. People love it. People tell great stories about it, and, and it's a great little place. It's a cool place, cool energy, but I don't really hear like good stories coming out of it. And that's the cool thing about Joliet. People always have stories, there's always
Yeah.
something. People always, leave, not disappointed. There's honestly like the only people that I saw leave super disappointed. They're people that brought in a lot of equipment, wearing, vests, all this stuff strapped to them, carrying,
I love the tack
carrying
vests.
everything. Yeah, like this whole, I had to like look twice because I thought it was like a bulletproof vest at first when they were walking in
They're
because I
tack
was like,
vests.
yeah, I was like, what are you
actually
wearing?
Yeah, they're actually tack vests, and you can put the bulletproof stuff inside of them. But yeah, we had a guy, the first team that I was on had a tack vest,
Yeah.
And it was like, God damn, dude, if you weren't attached to somebody right now, I'd be all over that.
They were and they
You
were,
look good.
it's a cool outfit. I'm not saying
It
it's
is.
not, and it's pretty expensive, everything they got going on.
But he had always had batteries.
Well, that's so yeah, I'm funny because I don't have anything. I just like bring a backpack and I have batteries for days. I have like every kind of flashlight you could want. It's all just in a backpack. But then I forget I have all of it and it just sits in that backpack I carry around. But maybe if I had the vest, I would remember I had it and it would be accessible. But no, it's those people that come in with everything expecting like they're gonna some piece of equipment on that vest or in that bag or whatever is going to catch something definitive or whatever. And they're always just staring at all of it and worried about what's on them and what's going on. They tend to leave disappointed is what I would notice. And I don't know if it's because the residents are like, haha, no, or they just are not looking up. Like if you're not looking up and you're not like experiencing what's happening.
Of looking up, Jessie McAlpin?
Yes.
Okay, we had her on our other show, me and Shane Peak did. And we were talking about her band and talking about that. She's like, oh, I know Kara. I'm like,
yeah.
So she said she still saw the picture of your doppelganger.
Yeah.
She was talking about it. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. She's like, yeah, we were there when he took the picture and all this stuff. So she's very familiar with that place. And she is a very gifted young girl. And there was a reason why I asked her to be on my other show because she had a lot of great stories. So she's very knowledgeable of that and very gifted.
We always like, obviously we were in the same place together, like we've definitely crossed paths, not realizing a whole lot. And then I got to like in person meet her. It was funny. The day that I got to like in person officially meet her and we talked, we like walked into the place together and we're kind of interacting. And I think not even realizing like totally who each other was, whatever. And then later that night, she showed me the doppelganger picture and of course, my husband's like not a believer and I show him, he's like, sure, that's what that is, because that's what he'll say to anything I show him. He's like, yep. He knows to not even say no anymore. He's just like, uh-huh.
So is he a muggle?
Yeah, he doesn't and no, my dad is too. My dad's like that too. So I've spent my life, like with, both of them like, uh-huh. But my mom can like see and hear stuff too or whatever. So we've just kind of spent our lives. That's why I say like, I wonder what it would be like if I was around more people that were more like encouraging of all of this, because I spent my life just being like, yeah, I might've just seen that, but like, whatever, I'm not saying anything, because I'm just going to get a sure you did. And I just kind of shut it off.
It's weird to be around people that actually validate what you're experiencing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like Jay. I mean, there's times that when Jay and I are in sync, it's like I just saw and he goes, uh-huh.
Yeah.
I did too.
I say my friend Nikki, like my friend Nikki is has for a while been my person for that because we spent so much time together at the prison and she really, we'd be, I could just point and she'd be like, mm-hmm. And we could, kind of talk without talking and trust each other when we say or see or feel or whatever. And that's been so valuable because I think without that, like kind of being able to lean on each other a little bit and learn how to, and to learn how to listen to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the thing that impressed me about this is it's not just, it's educated people that have this going on for them. I mean, you're talking about doctors and lawyers and I mean, it is people. It's people that have gone to college and they have been taught or instructed or educated. It's like it surprises me. It makes me feel good.
The logical side instead of the spiritual side, but
right?
You got that in your face all the time, and you can't refute it.
Yeah. It's like, okay, all right, I really am experiencing this.
Those naysayers,
Yeah.
No, and that's been an interesting experience for me too, because I always I would watch the TV shows or whatever. And people would, whether they are mediums or whether, they're whatever their abilities are, they would say, oh, I really feel something. I feel something. Just fill in the blank, feel something, whatever it is.
Mhm.
And I'd always hear that and I'd be like, well, is that evidence? Is that something? Is that because I was always told, right, that it's not like, okay, sure, you feel something here, because the person that I'm spending a lot of time with certainly doesn't feel anything and doesn't necessarily believe in it. And it was an interesting experience recently going to a place that I always feel something. It's the only place that scares me. And so I love it. It's because, I don't often get scared and I find that delightful to like feel that something, but don't we all a little bit? But so I was with people that when I was like, no, but don't you like now I can't breathe here, and they're going, oh, like me saying that to them is evidence that there's something there. And that was such a wild experience for me. And when I say it, because it was oddly recently, when I say it out loud, I go, well, shouldn't I have always thought that? Like, I listen to other people when they say they feel a certain way, or, I've always trusted that from other people. But anytime it's been me that I'm going, oh, I have a headache now, or, oh, whatever it is, I'm always like, that's weird that I have a headache there. That's weird that every time I go in there, I can't breathe. There's nothing about that air that I can't breathe, except there's something there,
It's very, and the thing that makes me think is, I mean, way back when we were more in touch with this kind of thing because it meant survival.
Yeah.
And we would sense something and it would put us on alert to
Yes.
be aware of something that might chop our head off or whatever might kill us. And
Right.
I would like to say it's something that has gone to sleep in us. And
Yes.
some of us, it's woken up. Latent? Yeah, that's the word
Yeah.
I'm looking for.
Latent.
It's
Yeah.
the latent,
Yeah.
it's the latent ability that in some of us, it's more prevalent than others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I had the opportunity, like when I had the opportunity is how I phrase it. When I was little, very little, I did get to be in an environment, the house I grew up in, that there was a ghost that was there with me. And I did, I got to have those experiences so young that I think, like, thank goodness for that, because I grew up thinking, oh, of course you see, hear, feel things. Like, obviously you do.
Mhm.
And that she was so like present and, so available for me to kind of like see, hear, feel, that I thought it was normal, that as I got older and started to shut it off, I do know that part is in there with me, and it makes it a little easier. And I always say, like, that's like the next project in my life is to really like learn how to tap into that after I get done with all the logical stuff and the responsibility stuff, to like start learning how to turn that on, because I say like, I'm really good at turning it off. A friend of mine, was telling a story once that he opened himself up on an investigation. And he has abilities, but he doesn't, I think he does, but he doesn't think he does. And he goes, I didn't know how to turn it off, though. I was too open. I never had to think about closing that off and had to have, help from friends to learn how to close it off. And I go, oh, no, I am 100% the opposite. I am so great at turning it off and closing it off and just not listening. I probably at any given moment, I probably have like somebody screaming in my ear and I'm just like, got stuff to do here. I might be like, maybe I'm a little distracted. Maybe I'm like, what's going on today? But I'm so good at turning it off. And I honestly, though, it's not on purpose. I'm around a lot of death and I'm around a lot of emotion all the time at work. I'm around a lot of the stuff that I kind of don't want to be, to be aware of it. And
I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine being sensitive and working in a hospital like that.
Yeah, and I have had, like, when I worked in older hospitals, ages ago when I probably was more open, I really don't need to even see that flicker out of the corner of my eye. Like, I don't need that in my life, or even where I am now, there's a room that I, and other people, we kind of whisper about it because we're at work, but other people say, oh yeah, there's a room that we see, that there's somebody's hanging out. And I go, you know what? Cool that I see that, cool that, like, obviously I'm a little bit more in tuned even when I don't mean to be. But like, man, then we kind of like, we joke, but we're not joking. We're like, what if we what if we remember that person? What if we do know that? Like, why are they hanging out here? Like, what's going on? And, and we know full well we're never going to like properly investigate anything. We're never going to properly interact in this situation.
This is where you can use the little method that we're promoting right now. Write something on a piece of paper, leave it in the room, like a question or something, leave it in a room and see if you can like leave a voice recorder in there and see if they read the paper and answer it.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, we're trying that one out. Jay wrote some questions down when you were at the Rock Island.
Mm-hmm. I did. I wrote down.
He was at Rock Island Paracon.
With the Paracon, and I put it on the table.
He wrote down on a piece of paper how many spirits.
I turned my spirit box on, and I pointed to the thing, and they said 6 automatically. Clear as day.
I like this.
Cool. Yeah. So I just thought it was a theory that I had of that sometimes spirits don't communicate verbally, but if they see something like a question or see something I manifest on a piece of paper, in that sense, maybe they're apt to interact a little bit more because it's an easy thing to do. If they see it, they can see us. They can't. Why don't they see this piece of paper?
That's really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So
it's an interesting theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll have to if I could get like if it's going to be empty for a while, like that one. If I can. I might have to try to sneak that once. That's a cool idea because it's a weird feeling to be like, to know we're not going to investigate, to know that we're there in that space all the time, and to know that this individual, I presume individual, it doesn't feel like a lot or anything, is putting that effort in. And it's always like in the same spot that you see, it's not like everywhere in the room. There's always like the same spot to know, you're like, what is going on? Like, why? And it is unnerving because you're like, why are you? Like, why you? There's, you're not the only one.
That's one of my biggest questions is why certain spirits? Why not everybody?
No,
okay, I'll tell you why. Because everybody has a different path from the creator. Okay, everybody has their own. Everybody's, like I said before, everybody's individual. There's not one person who's the same on this planet. Not one. I don't care what anybody says. It just doesn't exist. You can look like somebody and maybe act like somebody, but you are not the same person.
Yeah, we don't have the same path.
Everybody has their own path before they come to this earth. Everybody has their own agenda. Everybody has their own everything. This is the life lessons that we learn on this earth before we leave. And then depending on if you reincarnated or what level you ascend to, it just depends. But no, it's some people who die can just, go into heaven right away. They can, but not everybody. I mean, it just, some do, some don't, some go over here, some do this, but the ones that cross over into the light either usually have something lesson to learn, and then the ones that want to stay over, not going to light, is because of guilt, fear, retribution, anger.
I got this image of somebody going, I really want to stay, but I got to catch this train.
Exactly. There's quite a few people that are like that. You know what I mean? And usually after they cross, or usually after they pass, there's usually, I've heard this before, but I can't confirm it yet, but I mean, it's usually like a 21-day, 21-day.
I think it's up to 90 days. I think you're thinking of 21 grams.
Yeah, they're assimilating to the other side. I mean, there's things where they loved ones come there to greet them. They have all these other things that they can do. But if the person is not ready to hear any of that, it's their choice. You have that choice. Like on this side, you have the same choice on the other side. Until you cross over the threshold of that light, then that's different. I don't know what's beyond that light. All I know is that there's a lot of love over there. I know that. But yeah, as far as that, people just have different paths. Everybody is different. Different experiences, different everything.
And then you got residual energy too that's out there.
Depending on how much of an emotional person of a basket case you are that you want to leave with,
Right.
That would be me. I'll leave a lot of residual.
Oh, Bill just showed up.
Oh,
Bill
hey,
Walter
Bill.
just showed up in chat.
Hi,
I got my
Bill.
glasses off, so I can't see chat.
So,
I-
Karen, when you were talking about the hospital and this and that, and trying to basically kind of investigate it under the radar, so when you take that small piece of paper and put a half empty glass of the water that you would get, like you would give to a patient, put it on the corner of this piece of paper, and
Ah, that's a good
ask
idea.
them that question: Are you here? If you are, can you move this? And if it moves off the paper, just have it
oh,
on the corner. Move
Yeah, that'd be an interesting experiment.
that's a really cool
the paper,
idea.
then you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's a simple
Yeah.
That's
answer.
pretty low key too, like that.
Yeah, that's very low key. You don't even need the voice recorder for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
You could even do move the glass right for yes and left for no.
right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even get
Dude,
that
look at-
technical,
I
but yeah,
picked
they
no
you
as
could.
being
But you
left.
could actually, yeah, you could have one of those really
Yeah.
super small recorders that you just or say, oh, I left my phone in there. That's a good one.
No,
Oh, I forgot.
I even love the idea of just like the little bit of water, little bit of, little bit of paper or whatever. Super, that's, I mean, if you totally
Nobody
forget
would
about
even
it,
think.
people would just be like, that's a weird thing I found in there. It's not even finding, any recorders or anything, but just
Yeah.
that's a cool, like, that's just a little cool idea. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So
Oh,
try it
Bill
out
says.
and let
Oh,
us
wait,
know,
wait,
if
wait,
you
wait.
tried
Bill
out.
says. Bill says he's
That's
tried
what
it.
with other trigger objects.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that sounds
That's
awesome. I
awesome.
like that a lot. I'll have to, yeah.
Mhm.
One day
Yeah.
when we're not as busy, like when we're not as busy and that room is empty a little bit, I'll have to give it a
I've
shot.
been in
Here's
and
one
out of the
more.
hospital over the last 6 years. So I mean, I've had my issues, with stuff. So I had major um, health issues,
Ah.
and I've had surgery. I was in a hospital. I was at Freighter actually, and so I was there for like 2 weeks or whatever it is. I happened to have this one of the spirit boxes on my phone. I knew something was in the room I was in when I was laid up, and this was, yeah. Was I inebriated with the drugs that they were giving me? Sure, but I have learned that that really doesn't affect my gifts of
Mhm.
sensing things. I thought it did, but it really doesn't.
Yeah.
So if anything, it makes me a little bit more aware.
Yeah, I would actually think it would be more in that direction.
Because all that serotonin and
Uh-huh.
all that, yeah. So yeah. So there's Jesse. Nice.
Yeah, I was waving.
So yeah, when I had turned on my little spirit box on my phone at that time, I got a name right away,
Wow.
That's awesome.
and I saw the color green, and that's about all I got because um, I think I had a nurse that was coming in or something like that. But I wasn't alone in that room. There was some history in that room, and I know there was. So
Well, I don't go to hospitals because I hate doctors, but maybe it's because I don't like the spirits that are there.
I don't go to hospitals. I've been in hospitals, in and out of my life. But I remember going to one hospital that my father died in,
Oh, wow.
and I
Oh, we lost him.
go away, and I'm
Okay.
just so it's kind of yeah. Being an emotional person such as myself,
Yeah.
yeah.
It just felt I feel
Hospitals aren't
creepy
the best
in
place to be, but
hospitals. There's
they
more
can
there
be.
than the
But
patients.
there's also ones there that some hospitals there are comforting spirits there. There are some spirits who stay
Yeah.
behind.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of their job. They think their job is to help people cross or help people to,
Oh,
realize.
No.
You know what I mean? So there's a
Yeah.
mix. There's some negative ones there, but
I
it's
mean,
usually
the
ones
living,
that-
there's some negative ones there.
No,
Right,
I mean,
So-
people
Yeah.
people are people, right? Like, maybe we
Right.
get stripped down to a little bit more elemental and basic, but
we have different people in the world anyways, and then when you get them sick in a hospital or something, or there's so much different emotions that are going around. It just it's right for something.
Yeah, it's hospitals, prisons. What other buildings would be really? I mean, charged is the only word.
Asylums, but that kind of falls under like the
Asylums,
hospital.
The hospital, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
What
charged
about a
with
concert,
energy.
concert hall?
Theaters.
Yes.
Theaters. Theaters.
Well, and you hear about that all the time too. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's where everybody's like feeling that emotion and it's able to flow. So yeah, like a concert or
Right.
something, it can flow and they can, you know, and the excitement even of it too. Jesse says hotels too, because there is
Yeah,
stuff that
hotels.
happens
Oh,
in
yeah.
hotels.
Oh.
That's for sure.
Oh, I was in one hotel that it was in Reno, Nevada, and the floor above me had a suicide on it.
Oh,
And when I was staying there, he apparently the energy was dripping down into my room, and
Really?
I was just, it was bad energy. Oh,
Yeah.
horrid. But
So
yeah,
a lot of
it's
that, like with the hotels, you know, especially like in Vegas,
mhm.
you got those hotels like the Flamingo.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's been revamped a few times, but it's the main building is still there.
mm-hmm.
And you had the top floor, you had the gangster Bugsy Siegel up there. Now
What's the name of that one?
his energy is still up there to a certain degree, but there's a lot of residual mobster energy there. There's been, you know, suicides there. I mean, so it's just a lot of that leftover stained energy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know. So
The one that I really, I don't know if they've revamped it or not. It was one that was in North Tahoe, and
I know which
hotels.
one you're talking about.
The Calneva.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a Rat Pack hotel.
That was a rat pack hotel.
And-
They had
Oh, how
tunnels
cool.
underneath different rooms to
Oh.
different parts of these cabins that would go from one cabin to the next. There
Yeah,
was some
I
really
would.
crazy
Oh, I'd
shenanigans going
love
on
to
up
be
there,
at
and
that one.
was one of the famous places where Sinatra and all those guys would go.
Well,
Yeah.
Marilyn
that's awesome.
Monroe, all kinds of different people were at the Calneva. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I
Oh, yeah,
can't even
lobster.
imagine the energy that would be there from people that lost things, lost
Yeah.
their wages, lost, yeah.
Well,
And,
yeah, that's yeah. Now, when you're talking about mob stuff and you're talking like that, gets to be high
Mhm.
emotion, probably so much fear too. Is just
Right.
you know,
Right.
because if you're getting called to that hotel, it's probably
Yeah.
not for great things, you know. So
no.
just even just those feelings of walking in, and how many people maybe didn't make it out that
Yeah.
that thought they were going to or hoped they were going to.
Lake Tahoe's
Yeah.
awfully deep.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't even
yes.
want to know what's at the bottom of that
And
one.
yeah, no kidding.
No drought's
So-
gonna drain that puppy.
Right.
yeah, no kidding. So just how much, and you think of those big emotions. So like when you think of prisons, asylums, hospitals, how much, it's that the fear and the sadness that really, leave their stains,
Yeah.
a little more than the happiness does. But-
Or
Right.
the Cecil. The Cecil, actually, I'm on the fence about the Cecil. I watched the documentary on that one. I'm on
I
the
have
fence.
not.
I don't know if it's haunted or not. I'd have to go by myself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hotel Cecil's down in Burbank, I want to say, but it's in the area
Yeah.
of LA. And a girl disappeared, and they found
Isn't
her
that-
in a water tank.
I was gonna say in the water tank on top. Yeah, that one
Mhm.
just always horrifies me because
And the
people are
last
using the
picture
water.
we have, apparently, the last picture we have of her is her getting into the elevator, looking around like she's being chased or something. And it's like, I don't know what
Oh.
happened on that one.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So
But they think that she may have gotten into some drugs and ended up in the water tank. So I don't know.
That one just always grosses me out because
I know,
it's a
it's
body
like,
in the
oh,
water tank.
gross.
Like that just, aside
Like,
from any
how do you
haunting
clean
anything,
that? Oh,
it
I'm
just,
out.
I mean, it's
I'm
all their
out.
pipes, all their everything. Like that just actually like, I can't even
what
like
do you
think of
just
ghost
pump
stuff.
pure
Like, ugh.
chlorine through
Yes.
that or something for a while?
I think you have to literally out of every spigot, everything. And
Ugh.
that's what I always think. That's honestly, I can't even think of ghosts with that place. I just think of
no.
like how horrid all of their plumbing has to be. I mean, and that's horrible for this woman. Not discounting the horror for
Right.
her and everything. But just, I can't even imagine like everybody that showered there, everybody that
Ugh.
did everything there, and what's left of the plumbing and how you're expected to like stay in there and wash your hands again. I
it's
don't
just
know.
drinking water. Just thought of drinking water. That just I'm
Yeah,
done.
like just everything about
Um,
it. Like,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah. That I can't
Right.
even imagine the hazmat that has to go through that. Oh,
Yes.
oh,
And how long that was
Right.
just like going on, and people are like, it smells
Oh.
funny.
It's
it
like, screw
smells
the
funny,
ghost. What about this mess? You know?
right?
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So yeah, it might be
interesting
terribly
stuff.
haunted, but it's also terribly gross.
Right.
Oh yeah, it was shocking and sad. It was really interesting.
It's
Very-
horrible.
I might have to
Right.
watch that again.
I think
just
I have to like now. I think I've like seen it, and I'm like, I think I kind of know what happened. I mean, I think I
Oh.
was just trying to like avoid the grossness and horror,
Oh,
like
yeah.
in my own brain. But I
Right,
think I
right.
have to like go
You
watch
can
it now.
do
At
Well,
some
you
point.
watch
all
it
you
from a
want,
different point
Kara.
of view because
That's
you're in.
fine.
Yeah, no, I think I'm like really. It's just honestly, it's like that hazmat like perspective, and I'm just like, oh my god, like. And then did people get? Then speaking of like more from the healthcare perspective, did people get sick? And they're like, that's so crazy that you have this weird illness, and like when people have like the the Legionella, it gets tracked
I
back
was
to
just thinking
some
of
body of water or whatever, or
Yep.
some plumbing system. So, like, was there some weird disease, or was it even enough time? I don't even know if it was enough time, but like,
I don't know.
how many people had some like bizarre thing and they're like,
Yeah.
that's weird that you all have this bizarre thing from a dead body in the water tank. Oh, there's a dead body in the water tank. I don't. I just so yeah, like I know I should be more like bothered maybe by the haunting or maybe by all the like the energy left behind. I'm
I
just
think
still
it has
I'm
that.
I'm
think
there
it
on the
has
water
that
tank
thing.
itself and just that there was a body.
Yeah.
So that's me. That's what I
There's just these places that just have so much energy caught up in them, and whether it's active or residual or whatever, it's amazing to me how many places are out there.
There's a couple,
And
like I was talking with Jesse yesterday. You got the Congress. Down
Yeah.
in Chicago. You got the Drake.
oh,
We were talking about my friend Paige Dalton, Sharice Williams was
Yeah.
just on our show. Paige messaged me. She goes, "We're talking about a sleepover at the Congress. Are you in?" And I was like,
hell yeah.
"Yeah." I mean, I don't know when, but like, yeah, because I mean that's close. So speaking of my whining about long drives, like it's just going into the city. So yeah, no, like that would be. I mean, it would just be a fun night. I'm not gonna lie, but
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just Diamond's up. Who knows what's going on? Yeah. So, what's on your plate most urgently?
honestly, it's the show. We have kind of some special projects, so stay tuned like in December for a new exciting announcement for us, for me and Jenny and Tressa too. So it might be something like another show type thing in addition. So, I don't know,
Nice.
but so stay tuned. And so we're working on that. It's a lot of, it's that's what I say. It's let's call 2023 the building year. It's the figuring out, all the building and getting to where we want to be, because I also never really thought, I always knew I was in this world, like in the paranormal community or whatever, that I knew, but I never ever, if you would have asked me however many years ago, like where do you see yourself? I never would have thought this, that I get to have this role and get to have like this level of interaction and know the people I know and get to talk to who I get to talk to and
Yeah.
and who I get to like call my friends. How super cool is this? And so it's a lot of building all this up so that we get to keep doing what we want to keep doing and being, even more part of this world. So that's what's on my plate, like developing these shows, and just fun stuff with my friends too. Like how
Turkey
cool
plans?
No,
Turkey
I'm
plans?
working. So, but I will say, so I never actually really complain about holidays because they have a nice vibe. The
Y'all
holidays
get
are,
so
a holiday is always
dull.
nice, but then they feed us too. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I don't hate the Thanksgiving food they feed us. It's like a nice little treat. And honestly, my coworkers are some of my best friends. And so, we
That's
all
so
kind of go,
cool.
you working, and it's half of us. It's a half and half thing every holiday. And so I get to spend the holiday and like kind of do like Thanksgiving lunch, late lunch with some of my
Nice.
best friends like at work. So I don't mind that at all. I'm actually like, I'm looking forward to the pie they have every year, so
Ooh.
I'm looking forward to it, and I get to like hang out with some of my best friends and eat dinner, lunch. And so I'll be working. And then the next 2 days afterwards, though, I am obviously very close to Joliet. We've referenced that a couple of times. And so it's, and when I say the next town over, it's like a couple miles over. It's right here. So I get to kind of take part in the festivities. There's going to be, all this like tree lighting stuff, and I
Oh,
volunteer at the Rock and Roll Museum right now. So they're building, or it's built / still developing. The Rock and Roll Museum is, with some really cool people, and right in downtown Joliet. And they do a whole lot of really cool stuff. And it is also a historic building. So we do talk about like
Nice.
getting to investigate that. And people definitely have had experiences in there. So one of these days, that's probably on the plate, getting to like the paranormal plate, getting to investigate there. But just also the really cool, being part of my community and building the community and all the fun stuff that's going to go on. The art gallery that I get to do fun stuff with is going to have events and everything. So pretty much like Friday, Saturday after Thanksgiving, I'm going to just run around downtown Joliet and get to like visit with my friends and do cool stuff and
Fabulous.
take fun pictures and, some, selfies with Krampus at the gallery. So I honestly, like, that's why I say, like, I kind of spent so long focusing on, on more that investigating side and tours and, kind of being part of that side of the world. I am loving now just getting the time to have fun and,
Yeah.
kind of play in this world now.
Recharge your batteries.
And recharge. Yeah. Like that fun friend stuff. I've been sick the last couple weeks, I think like all of us. And I got to last night go hang out with my friends, like actually like go out and like, and yell and, laugh and have that good time. And I was like, oh, that is what I needed. Cause I was just like
You were
tapped out, right? Like when you're sick, you're just like, everything is terrible.
Mhm.
I just want to quit everything.
Right.
And,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went through that over the last couple of days.
yeah,
Why
no,
am I
it's really
doing
hard.
this?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and I felt so bad. Like, so speaking of like my podcast, it is so hard to like show up and like be on camera and interact and have a nice time when you
Oh,
maybe shouldn't be on
exhausted.
camera.
Yeah.
Like, or having a nice time or talking. And it's like so hard to just be like, yes, I'm paying attention and I'm here and I'm totally hearing what you're saying. It's so hard when you're sick. And so I finally, just last night got to have that time of like, okay, I'm a normal person again. I'm coming back. So like talk about like recharging your batteries. And that's kind of maybe what this year feels like too, just recharging my paranormal batteries and being, really kind of like getting back to basics and people and all that fun stuff and that connecting with people instead of just a place, and so yeah, that'll be my Turkey Day weekend is,
Nice.
I'll work, but then also run around and start all that Christmas stuff and
Yeah.
people stuff. So yeah, and I'm excited to be, for anybody local, you really should come out and check out the Rock and Roll Museum. Everybody's awesome, and it's a really great resource in the city of Joliet, and they're doing amazing things and really working to build the city because it deserves that. It deserves people that care about it. Like I'm going to say any city, but I love this one. So, somebody that really cares about the history and cares about where it's been and where it's going. So
Right.
the Rock and Roll Museum is
Excellent.
a great place to support too.
Excellent.
So tell us where they can find your podcast.
Where they can find my podcast. So it's Into the Obscure, 3 words. We are everywhere you turn your phone on into, right? So Facebook, Into the Obscure, Instagram, Into the Obscure, YouTube, Twitch, we live stream on. And you could also find us on the Paranormal 60 network, Dave Schrader's network. So our episodes come out on Wednesdays. So that's also a really cool model. When he told me about it a while ago, I listen to Dave Schrader on my way to work every day when I go to work. So, and I find myself getting a little behind because I honestly only drive to work 3 days a week. But so I listen, and he was like, I'm going to have these, I'm going to have these other shows, he's telling me about. And I was, of course, you're like, okay, am I going to like these Australian ladies? I don't know about that. So if any of you have listened though, but he has a True Hauntings podcast. It's these amazing Anne and Renata, these Australian women. I am madly in love with them now. I'm obsessed with them. He put together such a really cool group of people, including us. So he has 2 of his shows. He has Jeff Belanger's show, and then he has Anne and Renata's show. We're Wednesdays. We're right smack dab in the middle. It gets released, and I personally just leave that channel on all the time, and now I'm months behind, I hate to admit, because there's 5 days a week, an awesome podcast to listen to. So I really do. It's hard to catch up. So you can find us on Paranormal 60, subscribe, like, and share, but also on all of our channels, Into the Obscure podcast. If you follow me, Kara Phillip, you see at the bottom of the screen, I share all of that stuff incessantly, so you can't miss it.
She does. She really does. I have to sort through for pictures of Kara. What's she doing now?
Sometimes I forget where I'm posting on. Sometimes I like stuff that gets cross-posted on accident, and I'm like, I just forgot how to social media there. Sorry. Oh, well, it's everywhere. Enjoy it, everybody. So that's if anybody's paying attention, you can maybe tell I was sick the last week and a half, because it's like one of my friends, lives far away. She goes, Are you okay? Is something going on? I was like, actually, I'm not lately. I'm coming back, but because it's otherwise pretty constant. So you could catch on TikTok and Facebook and everything. I share like little, reels from our episodes, so you can even catch little snippets too, if if the whole episode is a lot to listen to.
Excellent. Well, I hope I get to see you this year.
I want to thank you.
I hope so too. Yeah, I missed Rock Island because they joined in with the paranormal community, scheduling things, on my weekend. But hopefully we get to connect this year.
We got another 12 months to try.
I know. And then before we know it, it's going to be November, and we're going to be like, that was really fast. That was quick. Whoa, it was a great year. I don't remember it.
All right.
So I want to thank everybody for tuning in today.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, Kara. Thank you for coming on and talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. You were awesome last time, so this has just been another continuation of this awesomeness. So
Yeah, always super fun. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So everybody, till next week, and this episode will be uploaded in about an hour, and it'll be everywhere where you get your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yep.
So everybody, thank you again, and we will catch